just a quick comparison of both Stable Diffusion models, just the text to image. This is Stable Diffusion V1 with half the model size and half the number of steps. I think puts out images that are of equal quality, certainly not lesser, possibly better than Stable Diffusion V2. Stable Diffusion V2, it does come in with a built-in safety checker. It does give you more images per sample, supposedly. So this is Stable Diffusion 2 with the 9 images. This is Stable Diffusion V1.4 with the 6 images. And we have to also remember that I'm running half the model on this. So this is half the model, supposedly the same number of samples. And here are the images that we can compare. So we're back. Just had some quick bugs that have not really been resolved, but partially have been. Some of the things can be helped by just upgrading your torch vision to the newest version. I would check your environment YAML, see which files have been installed. Fortunately, they give you the version after the equals, and I'd go ahead and upgrade everything or downgrade everything. But you got to pick one and roll with that. Triton is still not running, but it is a known issue that is on GitHub that's being kind of worked on as we speak. So that might get resolved. Xformers does work, but it is supposed to work with Triton, and you can see some things are not available. I think it was the version of PyTorch needs to be newer. And the version of Python needs to be newer as well. But then there were some dependency issues with one of the libg CCs or something of that sort. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, here we are. Let's look at the stats of the PC, of the GPUs. I've run about 4 models in a row, and we're still at 68 degrees Celsius on the 3060, which is what we're running. And that's just unheard of on the Tesla. So I'm going to unfortunately get rid of the Tesla. These prompts. This is Paris Hilton survives the Inquisition. Yes, Paris Hilton survives the Inquisition. Not noticeably better or worse. If anything, the faces here are pretty terrible. But they removed some of the celebrities and known people in Stable Diffusion 2, so that might be a result of that. The faces here aren't perfect, they're weird, but some of them look good. Some of them look really good. She looks good here. Yeah, let's see. Professional photograph of an astronaut riding a Triceratops. This is the default prompt. This is using the 768 by 768 weights. You can still see that there's just a ton of noise here. The noise never got reduced. I think I'm also running this on 100 samples. So I'm running 100 steps. Running 100 steps. Here I'm running 50 steps. 50 steps for the DDIM, which it should be defaulted to. So that's, we're half the model, half the steps, and these are the results we're looking at. This is a photograph of an astronaut riding a Triceratops, I believe. Yeah. It's definitely an astronaut. It's definitely riding a Triceratops, and it does look more realistic than not. It kind of looks less realistic than others that don't specify a photograph. And I'm assuming, and I don't know what Stable Diffusion is assuming, but to me a photograph means an image of the real world as we know and perceive it. Here we'll see the same prompt, and it looks pretty similar. This is actually, I think, on the StabilityAI website. Okay, I guess it's not, but this image is very typical Stable Diffusion-esque. I've definitely seen that image somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I definitely have, and I feel like you have too. So these images, they're not unique with the same prompt, but prompt to prompt, they're pretty unique. pretty unique as long as the subject is different. Keep the subject the same. Generally, the positioning of the subject is roughly the same as well. So this is Elmo in the sky with diamonds. Version 2, version 1 here. Which is better? I don't know. This looks more coherent. Like this looks like this was made in the 80s by taking a picture. I guess they had computers in the 80s, but this was made in a time when they did image editing by like overlaying images and, you know, doing a collage of sorts. It doesn't look like it's just objects copied and pasted onto a frame of some sort on a computer. It looks like it was done in a different way than what would be done normally. These look more digital. These look like more digital, you know, just kind of fumbled together with some Photoshop or something. And we can see that the pose of these images or the orientation of the objects, there is some kind of similarity here. Like here we got Elmo in the bottom with his big eyes. Here we got Elmo surrounded by stars. Here we got Elmo looking at a constellation of sorts. These are kind of similar, what's going on here, which is interesting. And then cows take back the dairy farm. Just pictures of cows. Just straight up pictures of cows. Absolutely no attempt to adhere to the prompt at all. Just straight up pictures of cows. Okay, so this is cows start World War III. So yeah, cows start World War III. Stable-diffusion 2, we're getting some meme vibes. My feeling is that the word World War III and being images that are supposed to be safe for work, you're going to end up with a subset that is mostly memes. Because World War III hasn't happened. Mostly when people talk about it, they're pretty political. So any image that's related to World War III that's safe for work, I'd say that there's a good chance that it's a meme. So that's why I'm thinking we're seeing that. Stable V1, I think they just gave up. They didn't even try. There's a two-headed cow here. Maybe that's on purpose. I doubt it. I don't even know if that's supposed to be two-headed. But they, you know, it's a pretty terrible prompt. And the letter A just gives out the weirdest. It's just a weird prompt. You would expect to see a character of the letter A or something related to the letter A, but it is completely unrelated to the letter A at all. It's just random, purely random stability or stable diffusion photos. Like this, what is this? Who could possibly say? This is a photo of a crowd. StabilityAI version 1, it's kind of got dark themes to it. This looks melancholy. This one's weird. Pretty sharp images though. Once you get up to a certain, I think the resolution is actually 256 by 256 on default. So this is a painting of George Washington at the World Cup and nothing. He's maybe in a stadium here. It does look like he's in a stadium here. Stable-diffusion 2, they at least put a soccer ball in a completely irrelevant place, like on his shoulder. He's not in a stadium. And look at this. This is half the model with half the number of steps. And we're getting, this is clearly better. This one is clearly a better rendition of the prompt. He is in a stadium. He is, you know, it is clearly George Washington. These are just poor paintings. Like the face quality is worse. Just generally everything is worse for this particular prompt, very noticeably. I would have to hear an argument for how this is a better rendition of the prompt than this is in terms of quality of the images and relation to the prompt. Coronavirus fights the bird flu. So here we are. Just pictures of birds. This stable-diffusion 1 kind of looks like there's some kind of, this is just really disgusting to look at. Look at this image. I hope someone else feels the same way. But it's just pictures of birds. They're not fighting the coronavirus. they're not fighting each other. They're not fighting at all. It is a lot of birds. There is some motion on Stable Diffusion V1, but it's nothing that noteworthy. And then we got a bowl of chicken livers. So a bowl of chicken livers. I don't know if you've had chicken livers before, but this is basically what chicken livers look like. These are some high quality chicken livers. Usually I chop mine up pretty fine, so it comes out to some unintelligible mess of objects. This almost looks like finely chopped chicken thighs, but it is clearly chicken fried or cooked in the appropriate way that chicken livers are cooked and put in a bowl and plated. I noticed that it does a pretty good job with food in a bowl. If you tell it food in a bowl, it does a pretty good job, both of them, of giving you food in a bowl. Install procedure is exactly the same. You do want to install Xformers. You potentially want to update all the packages that are giving conflicts. Triton is having issues, as was Xformers right now, but those are being worked on.